hope everybody's had a good weekend. I know I did. I got to relax just a little bit. Comment some fun things you did, and maybe we'll talk about it. Today is going to be kind of very packed with information, so buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride for bat lag and contact.
Saddle up.
Saddle up, everybody. All right, here we go. I don't have my whiteboard, so if I forget something, you guys gotta help me out, okay? So, we've gone through stance, load, toe touch, heel plant, slot, and connection. The next one for the day, first one anyways, is bat lag, okay? A lot of things about bat lag, so again, if I forget anything, for those of you who know all about it, shout some stuff out and we'll make sure I cover it. So, after we get to connection, when all of our rotational forces line up, okay, our back, elbow, hip, and knee. I refer to this a lot as reach and throw, or getting to our reach position, where we're taking our hands now, having independent hands away from our body, and reaching our hands forward towards the pitcher. And as I do that, you see how this barrel or this bat is going to stay nice and tight to my back shoulder, okay? Something we say often is we want to keep our hands inside the ball. So if you see here, as I reach, my hands are staying inside where the ball would be. So if I start to reach out, now there's a chance that my hands are going outside of the ball. So I want to make sure we're staying inside the ball with our hands, but also keeping our barrel inside of our hands. So our hands are inside the ball, our barrel is inside of our hands. Okay? As I reach, I don't want to go past my belly button or my front knee. So it's kind of like the stopping point. We don't want to reach all the way out here, because then we're kind of just flicking at the ball. We get to this good bat lag position so that we can create whip, really fast movement from our barrel to the ball as fast as we can. So we get to this position, creating this little pocket to create that whip. So as we get here, again, barrel is inside of our hands, nice and close to our back shoulder. We don't want it to be too high or too low, but just a little bit above parallel. Yeah, questions?
One question is, are you in Ruston?
Ruston?
I think Point Ruston.
Don't
a
know
place.
what that is. I'm going to go ahead and say no.
And then, how does bat lag look different for inside and outside pitches?
It doesn't. Okay, our bat lag is always, you're kind of jumping ahead to contact point, because when we start throwing to contact, it will look a little bit different. But our bat lag position, we should always be getting into this spot, okay? If it is an outside pitch, I still want to get to this spot, having a good bat lag, and then whip to that contact point, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But again, like I said, I call this reach, and then when we talk about contact, that'll be the throw. But something I refer to a lot, we want to get to our reach, creating whip so that we can create that good throw to the ball. Trying to think of some other bat lag stuff. If you guys have questions, yeah.
Can you show us the best way to prepare for bunting?
For bunting? Yeah, I mean, that's a curveball. We'll go for it, okay? Mm-hmm. So, if we're doing a sacrifice bunt, okay, we'll be in our normal stance. We want to, is there another question or are you just looking?
No, just off of that, bunting and the different angles of bats. Different angles of your bat for bunting. For bunting. That's like to follow up.
Okay, so again, with bunting, we want to get in a nice stacked position. We talked about being stacked kind of in the other parts of our swing. But imagine there's a plate out here. We can use this.
I miss you too, Kira.
We're going to imagine that's our plate, okay? We want to have our barrel covering as much of the plate as possible, okay? Because if we're bunting, we want to start at the top of our strike zone with just a little bit of an angle up. We don't want to be too high, okay? We want to be covering the whole plate. So if I were to go all the way down, I don't know if you can see all of it, but I'm covering the entire plate, okay? So again, we want to get that back foot turn with our chest forward, eyes right behind the top of the strike zone, and we only want to use our legs to go down. We don't ever want to dip. And as we're bunting, we want to have this good pinch, I would call it, on the bat, because we don't want to hold it too much high or too much with our fingers showing so that we don't get hit in the hand. We want to cover the whole plate, like I said, and we want to have a kind of a relaxed grip because we want to deaden the ball when it hits the bat. So as it hits, it should kind of just catch and die right out in front. When we're talking about moving it different places, it's just a simple angle of our bat. So if we wanted it to go down the first baseline, we might just angle open just a little bit so that I would go that direction. Similarly for going down the third baseline, I would just angle it more towards third base. Hope that kind of covers the bunting question. Good.
So back to bat lag. Is it fair to think about having the knob of your bat facing the pitcher?
Yes, absolutely. So as I'm reaching, I want to take my hands right back to where the pitcher is, okay? Keeping that barrel in, just a little bit above parallel. From here, like I said, we always want to get to this spot, even if it's a lower pitch, okay? If we're starting at the top of our strike zone, we don't want to start our bat lag down. We always want to get hands going right towards the pitcher and adjust our barrel to contact point from there.
For a lefty, what would bat lag look like?
It's not going to look great, but it should look the same. So after, bear with me friends, okay? So, toe touch, bat lag. Look at that. It's nice. Okay? So it should ideally look the same. It shouldn't change.
I'm assuming you're going to get there, but what are some drills to work on bat lag and connection?
Connection. Okay, so one that we talked about last week for connection was our 3 times to connection. So we go through our whole swing, connection, connection, and then on the third one we would swing. That's probably my favorite, one of the best ones that I know. I know some of our instructors are on if they want to pop any other ideas for connection and then shout them out to me, and I can demo those as well for you all. One of our favorite bat lag drills is, again, we'll have to do some visualization here, but we technically would put a tee up with a ball on so that we can just practice really getting to that good bat lag. And ideally, we're going to take the knob of the bat and hit the ball off, and then from there, you could have another tee or a front tosser. So from here, we're really just practicing that good width. I personally like stopping at extension. I think stopping at extension, which we'll get to tomorrow, is a great place to stop when you're just practicing drills. Sometimes if we worry about finishing our swing, we start to do some other wacky stuff. So we want to just get to a good, nice extension point. Again, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
What should my front side do during bat lag?
Front side. You still want to have a good firm front side. At bat lag, we might start to open up a little bit with that front hip because, again, now our swing is becoming rotational, but we're not going to really force these open yet. We want to stay relatively close still as the ball is coming because if I get too rotational, you see how now I'm disconnected. My hips are going away from my hands, and even though we've lined up our rotational forces, all of this is going to work together, but we are going to have these independent hands, but we still just don't want to rotate too much too soon. We want to stay still linear, but we can start to open those hips just a little bit.
When should you start your bat lag?
Okay, so after connection, once these are lined up, that's when, again, our hands are now kind of doing some independent stuff from our body. They're going to continue to move with our body, but separate from our body, okay? So our back knee can continue to move, but my hands are doing most of the movement up until we get to the stopping point, because ideally the ball's coming at us, and as we get to the stopping point, we should be getting ready to throw to contact. So still having a firm front side.
At bat lag, should our bat be above or below our shoulder?
Kind of both. I mean, we don't want it to be up here. We also don't want it to be here. I would say kind of right in line. I mean, as the angle goes, it's above our shoulder. We don't want it to be down or up. Just a little bit angled up so that we're not too parallel and end up dropping our hands at contact.
Really quick, is bat lag linear or rotational?
This is a tricky one. Like I said, connection is when we line up those rotational forces, right? So everything leading up to connection has been linear, but this is when our swing starts to become rotational, okay? So it's kind of like a crossing point for me, whereas I get to bat lag, okay? Like we talked about just a second ago, our hips can move open just a little bit to create space, especially if we're thinking about an inside pitch, right? We have to get there a little bit quicker, so we might open our hips a little bit sooner. Whereas on an outside pitch, again, kind of jumping ahead a little bit to contact, we might not open up as much because we're catching the ball back deeper in our swing.
Why does our contact point change?
Cool, let's just jump right in. Just dive right into that, okay? So, contact point, a pitcher's not going to throw the same pitch to the same spot every time. Hopefully. Well, that'd be great for us, not great for them. So if you're thinking about a plate, right? Okay? Since limited resources here, my coffee cup is going to serve as, the pitch. So if this is
it's a pretty low pitch. Pretty low pitch.
Pretty low. I'm going to have to really get into my legs down. Just idea, like picture it, visualize, if you will. Okay? That the pitch is coming right down the middle. Okay? On this pitch, my contact point is just a little bit out front of me. Okay? I have good flexion. My belly button should be on my contact point, and my head should be right behind. Okay? We don't want to rotate too far off. That belly button should be right on my contact point. Good stacked position. Our cleats should be starting to get towards the catcher in this position. My weight is still 50-50, but I'm in a really nice stacked, strong position. It's important on our contact that we do have this flexion in our arms, because if we start to get into this position, it's very weak. We're just kind of pulling through the zone. And we talked about earlier with bat lag, we want to create whip. So we get to that bat lag, whip, and stay strong in our contact point. So when things kind of start to change a little bit, again, my plate and my ball, just go with it. Okay? So on an inside pitch, we have to get there a little bit faster. So we want to catch it out just a little bit more in front. So again, if I get to my good bat lag, I need to get to this spot a little bit sooner and catch it more out in front. Even though this is an inside pitch, and then we talk about outside pitches, we don't want to be hooking these balls or pulling them foul. We want to always be gap to gap. Here at softball, you believe in being gap hitters, meaning left center, right center, and we even count center as a gap. We want to keep it up the middle, okay? So on this pitch, I am going to catch it more out in front, but I'm still trying to stay inside with that, creating that bat lag, staying inside the ball, throwing to the gap in left center. Okay? Similarly, but on the outside corner, you know what? We're going to turn this a little bit. Bear with me, folks. Okay? So again, remember, middle was here, inside was out here. This is an outside pitch. We always want to make contact with an outside pitch at our belly button or in front. We never want to catch the ball behind our belly button, okay? So as we make contact with this pitch, I'm right on it with my belly button, head down, and then again tomorrow, we're going to talk about extension, but taking our swing through to right center field or the opposite if you're left-handed, okay? So again, our contact point is a little bit deeper here. So really, our contact point depends on what? Well, just let them roll. What does our contact point depend on? Mostly for me to catch my breath, friends.
Well, we have some like comments and questions.
Comments and questions.
You want to go for that? We take a breath? Okay. We got a couple compliments on how you explain contact point and your whip. That is very nice. Coach Arista said, use that unlocking sequence.
Ooh, Arista, coming in clutch, okay? Let's touch on that really fast, okay? I knew I could count on you guys. Hold the phone, everybody. Big timeout. I don't know if any of you out there know who Coach Shauna is. She's kind of a cool person. She had a birthday yesterday, so I would be remiss if I did not say, happy birthday, Coach Shauna. So everybody comment down below on that. Send her all the love. Back to the unlocking sequence. Okay, so I'll kind of add in a drill with this as well that we like to use a lot. These are great drills to do at home as well, okay? So when we talk about our unlocking sequence, okay, it's all talking about our lead arm. Starts with our shoulder, okay? We want to unlock our shoulder to about right here. Then when we unlock our elbow, right here. I don't know the best way to show you guys this, but we unlock our shoulder, and then we unlock our elbow. And the last thing, again, we're creating this whip now in our lead arm. From there, that's where we would throw to contact. Okay? So again, we unlock the shoulder, the elbow, then the wrist last. Okay? So we call this lead arm Jenny if you have a smaller bat. Or I personally really like to use mallets if you have them. I think we talked about that the other day. But you just want to do exactly like we just looked at. Unlocking in sequence, throwing to extension. Okay? I'll come back to it because I don't remember. Yes.
How do we stay inside the ball?
How do we stay inside the ball? Again, that bat leg is very important. We want to keep our hands not super close to us, but not too far away. That's why that slot and connection is so important. We create that space, then we get our hands moving towards the pitcher to create that bat lag, keeping us inside the ball as we reach towards the pitcher. If we start to reach, think about an outside pitch. If we start to reach our hands towards the ball, see how now I start to try to come around, okay? We want to make sure everything's going straight towards the pitcher first, then we can whip our barrel to the ball no matter where it's at. But the second we start to leak our bat lag or our barrel away from us, we start to come around the ball.
Can you talk about whip again?
Whip again, yes. So, bat lag is important. Probably, I say everything's the most important thing, but bat lag and timing are probably tied for first. Okay, so, whip. As we get into this really good bat lag position, right? We've gotten our connection in our slot. We're reaching towards the pitcher. You see how we've created this little pocket right here, so I can really whip my barrel just with that action, okay? And when you put everything else together, it's going to be more powerful and more explosive. If I start to leak out in this position, right, I don't have this whip in my wrist, now I'm sweeping around the ball, or I'm, casting around the ball, okay? Again, we always want to keep our barrel in and our hands in. So to create this whip, I need to get this pocket, getting to a good bat leg position, and then really whipping this pocket open, okay?
So you have like a unanimous decision that you have to sing and dance for Shauna's birthday.
Okay, I rescind my happy birthday because it's technically not your birthday anymore. It was yesterday.
But you got a lot of requests.
How many?
I can't even count.
I'll get back to that.
It even includes she has to show off those moves too.
I'm upset at everyone.
A lot. I can't even scroll this far.
Who started it?
Coach Carly, I think.
Carly, I thought we were good. I thought we made up. We had a really nice Insta chat the other night, and you're just doing me dirty.
Do you want to answer a quick softball question?
I would love that.
How is that different from a racing elbow?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what that means.
Do you have a drill not to pull the ball?
Not to pull the ball. One thing that's really simple, anytime you're on a tee, is just work on outside pitches and work on stopping at extension, not to the right side of the field, because it'll force you to really stay stacked over and extending towards the outside part of the plate.
Okay, now time to sing and dance. I need to know.
Happy birthday to you.
You gotta start dancing too.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shauna. Happy birthday
Whoa,
to you.
that was a nice little kick action.
You're welcome. Sorry I didn't have more time to prepare. Do I have a real softball question?
Yeah.
Okay.
What drill for kids that struggle with low and in pitches?
Okay. Setting up a low tee is really great. Something, especially, we talk, and I know I'm going to murder this or massacre the wording, I always do. All of the Sun Dodgers at home are saying this already. The further the ball is from your hands, the deeper you let it get. Come at me. I'm sure somebody will. But, so we want to practice getting into our legs, especially on lower pitches and outside pitches. We want to stay strong in our legs. Having a nice low and inside pitch, really working on driving through our legs and catching it off of the lower tee. I know we've gone as far as putting the ball on cones to really work on staying low and driving through those low and inside pitches.
Everyone just really appreciated the kick, especially. Also, Lauren Joy 27, it was her birthday too.
Happy birthday. I think I sang for you too. Just know that the song was also for you.
Somebody said you have to do it again for her now.
No. It's a one-time show. Only here on Mondays at 9:20.
9:20?
Yep, I already did it. Moving forward.
9:20.
10:20. 20 minutes.
Okay.
Any other softball questions? Okay. Now that I've embarrassed myself and I've taught you some stuff about that in contact point. Just simple contact point stuff. It's a great idea just to practice stopping at contact point. If you go a little bit past, that's fine. But really working on checking where you're at. Stop and assess. Do like the once over. Am I flexed? Am I stacked? Is my back heel up? Am I strong in my body? Is my belly button on contact? All of those things. But practice each contact point as you do that, okay? So we don't want to just always work on down the middle pitches because you don't really get those very often. So make sure, move the tee around to different spots and practice stopping at contact point. My videographer's laughing. It's making me uncomfortable. What's happening back there?
No, I just appreciate the comments that you'll be here every Monday at 9:20.
Yeah. My bad.
Okay, which pitch do I let get the deepest for my contact point?
Low and outside.
Just straight to it.
Because that's going to be the furthest one away from you, right? And on the reverse, high and inside is the one we have to get to the fastest. Are we done? A little bit more
Maybe.
easy?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I got. All right, friends.
Do you have a name for that move?
The 2-2. A little bit like this 2-2. Yeah?
Okay.
Extension and follow through tomorrow?
You got a comment, never let the ball get deeper than your belly button.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you tomorrow, maybe at 9:20. Maybe at 10.
Get on
maybe
and see
at
what
10:20.
happens.
Check us out.
Oh,
Hope everybody had a great day.
are there drills you can do without a tee?
Practicing your unlocking sequence is really easy. If you find a wall, or if you want to beat up on your sibling, okay? If you want to practice unlocking in sequence, you just take your elbow forward. It's not a great spot, so there's that. Shoulder, elbow. Shoulder, elbow. It's a good way to practice just getting that unlocking sequence. Friday, we're going to talk a lot about visualization and like the mental side of the game, so there'll be some kind of mental drills to do with that. Any other ideas, coaches, coming in?
You have a request to bring Chunk next time.
I will bring Chunk tomorrow.
Are you here tomorrow?
I will be here tomorrow. Like I said, 9:20, maybe at 10.
You said Mondays at 9:20.
Oh, shoot.
Tuesdays as well?
I'll be here Tuesday at 10, for sure. And I will bring Chunk. If you know Chunk, he will be excited to be here.
You got a response that said if Chunk isn't on, then everyone's leaving. No one's going to watch.
Valid point. That understood. I'll be here.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks, friends. It was a time. We danced a little. We laughed a little. Maybe we learned something. See you tomorrow.